welcome to another episode of Entrepreneurs in Fuego. We're documenting the journey of incredible entrepreneurs. Mallory, Dyer, Graphlock.
Yes.
A returning customer.
I am. Thank you for having me again.
How are
I'm
you?
so excited to be here.
How you doing? You know, your story was, when you were here, the focus of your story was a little bit different.
Yes.
And for all of you who want to see and hear an incredible story about overcoming obstacles, we're just going to let them go to the
That
YouTube channel, Entrepreneurs in Fuego YouTube channel, and they can check you out over there.
Yep.
But you're an incredible entrepreneur, and you have this amazing app called Graphlock.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Yes. So basically, I'm a math professor, and that's where it all began. So I've been teaching for years now, and I've just noticed with the rise in cost of education, it affected a lot of my students. And the biggest thing that I noticed was these graphing calculators. I mean, they are $100 plus for students, and they all need them for at least one class.
Which grades are you?
So I teach at the college level.
Okay.
Yep. So
All
I
right.
teach at the college level, and so I teach everything from basic math through calculus. So the main class that I noticed it in is called College Algebra, and it is a class that almost every single student has to take regardless of their major, and they have to pass it, and they need this calculator. And what I noticed was, you know, I'd look out and I'd have these 20 students over here that could afford it, and they were just breezing through the math and they were good to go, and then these other 10 that couldn't afford it sat there and were, you know, struggling doing everything by hand and losing confidence. I had students drop out of class. I had students, you know, lose their scholarships because they failed the class. It was terrible. And so I was
this
like,
is because they couldn't afford a calculator
Yes.
to solve the more complex problems.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. And you know, students are so visual now too. So they can type it in on, they can see the graph, and then they can go on and answer all these questions. And these other students were trying to graph by hand, and they're sitting there for 10 minutes doing that, and they haven't even moved on to the other math yet.
You know what I loved about algebra when I was a kid?
What's that?
The Venn theorem. You know, it's just a Venn and the little circles and everything else.
Oh yeah, like
Look
the
it up,
Venn
look it up,
diagram
look it up.
stuff.
Yeah, the Venn diagram stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I kind of like that. But anyway, that's another story. I mean, you just brought me back to childhood.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about math. We don't need to talk
Oh,
about
wait a minute. All right, so you invented, you came up with an app. You and your
Yes.
team came up with an app called Graphlock.
Yes.
And tell us exactly how this app solves that particular
Okay,
issue.
so it actually came down to one student in particular that gave me the inspiration. She was, you know, on a scholarship, coming to school, and was struggling through the class because she couldn't afford this calculator.
Yeah.
And she came up to me one day after class and was like, I have to drop this because if I don't, I'm going to fail and I will lose my scholarship, and that'll be the end of school for me. And as she's saying all this, she's holding her phone, and I'm sitting there like, there's so many students that have these phones now. It is ridiculous that there's not an app out there yet that can do everything that these calculators can do. I mean, if you think about it, cameras, we all use our phones now. Even like video,
absolutely.
like we use our phones,
Right.
but yet we're still hauling around this big old dinosaur of an expensive thing because that's just what people have always done. And so that actually, my poor husband had to hear me for I don't know how long complain about
honey,
this.
honey,
and-
I got an idea, I got an
oh
idea,
my
I got the
goodness,
solution for this.
and stacks of paper, you know, and finally one day he was like, just go after it then. And I was like, all right. And so Graphlock, what it is, it can do everything that one of those can, but it has a lockdown mode on it. And what that means is no text, no calls, no internet, no Facebook, no Snapchat, only the calculator during the time.
So in reality, when if I am because when you go to at this level, cell phones are not allowed.
Yes, they are not.
For your test or for classes and
Not
everything,
at
so
all.
they're not allowed. And so you have this program, this app that you give people some kind of password, some kind of code.
Yes.
How does it, in
So-
practicality, how does it work?
Yes, so the way it works is the teacher has one on their end and then the students download it. And there's basically like a monitoring software. So the teachers basically say, hey, it's class time, everybody log in. The teacher creates a session and boom, it's done. And they set the timer. So the second class is over and the students leave, they have their phones back.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what type of calculator is it?
It's scientific and graphing. So
Scientific and
it
graphing
has all the
calculator.
trig stuff on it.
Yeah.
We are going to be getting statistics on it. There's going to be a calculus bundle on it.
Sure.
There's going to be a business bundle on it. So, and I designed the calculator myself actually to make it very intuitive and simple. So students, when they're looking at it, they're not like, oh my gosh, which button do I push? I made it to where it's very intuitive for them to know kind of how to go through the steps of it.
This will solve then, and you smartly pointed out, I mean, not all of us will go out there and be able to afford a $100, $125 calculator, but most of us nowadays, we have smartphones.
Exactly.
And we take that smartphone with us all over.
And that's the other thing. I can't tell you how many students, oh, I forgot my calculator today. They are not going to forget their phone. They are not going to forget their phone.
You're going to walk back 10 miles if you have to, barefooted on snow.
Uphill both ways.
Uphill both ways, exactly, to go grab your phone back.
Exactly.
Your calculator, well, I just forgot it.
Yep. And the other thing is a lot of schools now, they have, one-to-one iPads, or they're buying blocks of Chromebooks, things like that. A lot of high schools, a lot of even middle schools. And so they'll be able to actually just download it to all those devices. So every single student is using the same exact calculator at the same time. And I also designed it to where the teacher can actually customize the calculator that day. Meaning, if they don't want them to graph using the calculator and they want to see them do it by hand, they just X out that feature, and every single student is graphing by hand that day then.
Is there resistance to your idea?
And
where is that coming from?
Yes.
If there is?
Well, in education is slow to change.
Okay.
It just is. It's one of those things.
Because you had me add algebra. Boom, I'm done.
Yeah.
But I'm sure because of our system, and that's the reason that I ask is because we're so slow and reticent to change that even the best idea like this, and it's a simple solution to a complex idea and a financial problem.
Exactly.
That somebody's going to have some type of resistance that's going to come up with, well, let's do a study.
Yes.
Just do it.
I know. Well, that's what makes me laugh is a lot of people, it's, the students are going to be able to figure out a way to cheat and stuff. I'm telling you, students now figure out a way to cheat. I can't tell you. They do, and I can't tell you how many students they take off the top of the calculator thing, and they have formulas written on it, on the calculator itself.
Right.
And so, the whole concept with student cheating, students are going to find ways sometimes. That's all there is to it. So what we have to do is just, do our jobs, number one, and number two, just find the best way possible to help out our students and just make sure it's equal for all of them and they can all have a chance at it.
Cheating is a societal problem. It's not a financial problem.
Yes.
And here you are providing the solution that will make this particular app accessible and this calculator accessible to everyone.
Exactly.
Without having to, divide the ones that have vis-a-vis the ones that have not.
Exactly.
And so this really levels the playing field.
Yes.
An app like this, let's talk about the reality.
Okay.
And I know that you're doing a campaign, an Indiegogo campaign. Let's talk about that.
So I'm super excited about it. We're actually launching August 31st.
August 31st, 2016.
Yes, so a couple weeks from now.
Yep.
Indiegogo campaign called All Students Count.
Yep.
And our hashtag is equal math because that is the whole reason I created this. And what people can do is they can donate to it, and when they donate, we're actually going to give free downloads to low-income students or schools from the campaign.
Fantastic. And so when is the app going to be ready to be
We are
downloaded?
launching in November, and it'll be on Apple, Android, iPads, Chromebooks, everything.
Are schools signing up, and I know we talked a little bit about that, but are schools kind of signing up to this idea where they can just buy it in mass?
Yes. So we will have, we're going to go two ways where you can either just download it straight from the App Store, or we'll do volumized with schools. So if they want to do a bundle, they can.
I had a question. Now, for this to work, you have to have the professor who buys into this plan, because you could have, as a student, you could have the graph calculator with you, but if you're not allowed to use it in the classroom environment because the teacher hasn't signed up for it,
then
it's not good.
Exactly. So the teacher has to allow it itself.
Okay.
There is, though, a Lock Just Me feature on it. So we also thought of that. So in case it's not a mass lockdown, say there's only one or two students that have it, the teacher can actually do a Lock Just Me where the teacher doesn't have to have it, only the student has it, and it'll work the same way.
Genius. Genius. I'm sold. I tell you, Mallory, this is, these are the kind of apps, these are the kind of watershed moments that happen every infrequently that will change not only society as we know it, but the way that we do business, the way that we are able to access education, right?
Yes.
I mean,
Yes,
it makes
exactly.
it a lot more, how shall I say, leveling the playing field is so
Yes.
important.
Yes,
And
exactly.
you have this Graphlock idea, not just from a financial perspective, of course, but also from a social point
Yes.
of view. And that's what I truly respect
Because
about what you do.
my biggest thing is I think every student should have the opportunity to reach their full potential.
Yep.
And I've had tons of students that, just did not either have that great of a educational upbringing, whatever, didn't have great math teachers, and they get to me and I see it in them, but they don't believe in themselves. And then if they don't have this technology on this side of it, they're just, I hate math, I don't want to do math, I want nothing to do with it. And you never know, that could have been the next engineer coming up with who knows what.
The one time that I remember using calculus for the first time, and I knew this application was where I was taking my microeconomics class, and I had to figure out where my marginal cost equal my marginal revenue, and I just, that's what calculus is all about. Like,
That's where it's used.
that's what okay. So it's just, finally, after all these years, okay. The light bulb just came up, you know what I mean?
Exactly. So thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
And, Indiegogo, where is there how long does this campaign last? By the way?
It's going to go for a couple months, so probably till the end of October.
All right.
And so then right before we actually launch.
Okay.
And so as I said, people can get on, they can donate to give free downloads. They can also pre-order the app. So if they want it for themselves, they can get on and pre-order it.
Nice. And then after that, they can find your Graphlock.com.
Yes. Yep, graphlock.com. We're on Twitter, Facebook, all over the place. So
Genius. That's all. We're out.